Hi and welcome or welcome back. My name is Kristen and I'm coming to you from my hand-dyed yarn studio, Skein Yarn, located in Coffs Harbour, Australia. Here on my channel I talk about all things knitting and yarn related with a little bit of sewing and other crafts sprinkled in. You can find me on Instagram as Skein Yarn and I'm on Ravelry as K10, that's K10. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes from the last episode. My birthday was last week on Wednesday. On the weekend, Paul and I went to see my family in Foster, which was lovely. And my birthday continues this weekend. Paul is taking me to Ambah, which for a little getaway, which would be lovely. We haven't actually had a getaway for quite some time, so we're both really looking forward to it. We have a hotel that's just across the road from the beach and within the centre of Ambah. Ambah's about, I'd say, about 2 hours, an hour to 2 hours north of us. It's on the coast, it's lovely, we've been there lots of times. And yeah, it's just a really nice getaway. I'm going to take some knitting and some sketching things and yeah, and a book, and we're just going to relax, which will be lovely. I have been knitting a lot and I seem to be quite obsessed with knitting, which is very unusual for me. Usually this time of year when the weather gets warmer, I don't tend to not so much feel like knitting, but I don't know what to knit. I don't usually knit a lot of summer, spring sort of garments, which is quite strange. I don't know why, because the climate that I live in, that's the thing that I wear most of the year. I started a Margaux top, so I might as well just talk about that. So I started the Margaux top. This is from Gregoria Fibres, and I have knit quite a lot. It's very hard to show you because I've split the front and backs now, and I'm knitting the front. So that's it there, but I've got it all on the same needle. I haven't actually separated it and put it on different needles, so yeah, it's had a weird sort of stage. So that's the armhole there, and the other one on obviously this side, and that's the back just sitting on hold. So I'm using our Cushy DK in the colour Crema de Caffe, so it's just a lovely neutral. I did talk about this the last episode. I was very keen to cast this on and just get going with it, so I very quickly read the instructions and just started. And then I realised when I went to split for the sleeves, well, I mean for the front, my stitch pattern was off. The pattern, I'm actually basically what I did wrong is you have these lace rows and then you have a division and then you have these rib rows. So the division is meant to be 2 garter stitch or reverse stockinette stitch rows, and I've only done 1. So I'm off 1 row for all of the stitch pattern. Now I couldn't tell when I was doing it, so it's not like a major problem, but it does put the stitch pattern out from when you're knitting in the round to when you're knitting straight. So I just have to be mindful of that. It's actually not too bad because it's just the same lace division row and rib repeated over and over again, so it's really not that difficult to, you know, alter. But yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I do the pattern itself. I actually, well, funnily enough, I was thinking about this. I usually have my patterns on my phone. I download them and then I read them off my phone. But my iPad died, and my iPad was what I was watching my podcasts and things on. So now I watch my podcasts on my phone, so I have to print the pattern because I can't sort of go flick back and forth between the pattern and what I'm watching. The printed pattern, the way it's formatted, is it begins the stitch pattern, because it has like a separate section for the stitch pattern. It begins it on one page, so you have only 2 lines 2 rows on one page and the rest all on the next page. So I just quickly looked at the first couple of lines and then I wrote what I thought was correct up on top of the next page, so I didn't have to like keep flicking back and forth, and that's where the error occurred. So maybe had the pattern been formatted so that the whole stitch pattern was on one page, I would have probably like realized, I would have read it correctly, but it is my fault because I was rushing to start, and yeah. Anyway, it's not a major problem. Like I said, I've fixed, I can work out how to just continue doing the same stitch pattern, and when you look at her pictures on the pattern and on the Ravelry webs, on the project page or her design page, you can't really tell a huge, like there's not a lot of difference, so it's okay. So apart from that, it's knitting up really quickly. Like I said, it's a DK weight yarn. I usually don't knit summer spring things in DK weight because in my mind they were too heavy. But in saying that, this top that I'm wearing, the Soldotna crop, is DK and it's perfect for this time of year. This has also got the Margaux top that I'm working on actually has lots of eyelets, so there's going to be quite a lot of breeze coming through, so it's not like a thick heavy fabric that's just all in one. It does have a bit of aeration, I guess, breathability. So yeah, it's going to be fine, and I don't know whether I'll be able to wear this in the middle of summer because it does get very, very hot and humid, but I can definitely wear it on the shoulder seasons. In saying that, I'm not going to worry about knitting with DK weight yarn for summer and spring things. I'm just going to do it because you can wear them, and wool itself is great for wearing in hot weather because it is a natural insulator. It does keep you warm, but at the same time it will keep you cool when you're hot. It's a win-win. I think that's everything I had to say about the Margaux top. Oh, that was the other thing too I found with this top, and then I read a lot of people's notes on Ravelry as well, on their project notes. The stitch gauge, not the stitch gauge, the row gauge that's given in the pattern is very small. Yeah, so her gauge is 34 rows per 4 inches and I got 44, so that's quite a significant difference, and pretty much everybody on the Ravelry website had the same issue. I don't know whether that might be a typo, maybe it's meant to be 44. Anyway, I have been adding extra rows onto the length of the body, so I added one more row to, no, actually one more repeat to the length of the body, and then I'm going to add another repeat to the sleeve. But what I might do first is just try it on as best as I can because I don't want the sleeves to be too wide, and of course this is a bottom-up garment and so it's very difficult to try on, but I don't want the sleeves to be too wide, the armhole. That's the Margaux top by Gregoria Fibres. It's been on my queue for a very long time and I'm really glad that I have cast on, and I'm really enjoying it. It's just flying off the needles, it's very easy to knit, and yeah, that's my first whip. My second whip is the Toasty scarf by Veronika Lindberg, and this is for the Lovely Day podcast knit along that Alicia is running. And I haven't done a huge amount, but this is sort of just one of those projects where I pick up and do a few rows and put it down. The stitch pattern is extremely easy to memorize, so it's just lovely just to have as a little side project to knit on when my other projects either get to a point where I need to concentrate and I don't feel like it, so I can just pick this one up and knit. I am using our Oh So Fine in the colourway Candlelight, which is coming across a little bit lighter than what it is. It's a lovely sort of what would you call that, golden orange. And then I am using our Fluro peach in our Allure base, which is a fingering weight. It's 100% merino and it's lovely and soft. Both of these are gorgeous and soft. So the stitch patterns, like I said, it's very easy. She has in the pattern that you knit to a certain amount of stitches, but what I'm going to do, because I don't want any yarn left over, I'm going to knit until this skein, the Allure base, gets to about 60 grams, and then I'm going to do the decreases. And just try and use up as much yarn as I can. And I actually, when it comes to scarves and shawls, I actually do like them to be a little bit longer for winter. This will definitely be a winter scarf for me. I do like the little shawlettes, and I knit a few was it last year or the beginning of this year? And they're great for in between seasons, but this one I want to wear it in winter. So I don't mind if it's a little bit longer. And yeah, like I said, it's very easy to knit. It's just a broken rib, and yeah, liking it, loving it, nice and easy to work on. So my next cast on took me by surprise a little bit, because so I was watching those twins who knit, and which is a podcast here on YouTube, which I'll link below. And they were showing their Lumme socks by Sari Nordlund, which is a colourwork sock. And I was trying to think, I'm pretty sure I have never knit a colourwork sock, which is crazy because I love colourwork. I guess what has put me off knitting colourwork socks is the fact that it's small circumference, and I love knitting socks using magic loop. I don't have any needles that I could do small circumference knitting in. I do have the Gu set, but that's for, I don't have them in the smaller size, I have them in the larger size for sleeves and things for sweaters and that kind of knitting. So I really loved when I saw it on their podcast, and I thought, you know what, this would be great for the shop, because I would really like to do some colourwork sock sets where I have two minis and a 100 gram skein. That'd be fun, and it would be fun if I could do some socks, but first of all I'll see if I enjoy knitting them. So on the way down to my parents' place, which is about a 3-hour drive from where we live, I worked on it in the car, and I got almost all the colour work done. I did the rest at home, but this is it. It's so cute. I had a lot of fun knitting these. I was a little bit worried about the floats being a bit tight. I've knit a lot of colour work, so I'm used to dealing with floats, but I've never, like I said, I don't think I've ever knit a sock with colour work, and it is a lot finer, the needle, and I do knit really tight. I love a tight gauge sock. So my needles, I'm pretty sure these are 2mm. They could be 2.5. I can't remember. I'll put it in down here. And yeah, I am a tight knitter anyway, so the fabric does end up quite tight, which makes for a really well wearing sock. It's very hard to put holes in it when your gauge is super tight. Anyhow, I was a little bit worried that the floats would be, I would, carry them across too tightly, but it was fine. So here's my floats. They're all lovely. Ooh. Lovely. And I ended up doing magic loop, and I'm going to say, if you've never done colourwork socks with magic loop, I would recommend, if you're going to do it with magic loop, you would want to use a fixed circular needle, because I do know, even though I have the little tightener for the interchangeable, they do come undone. Because you're toing and froing a lot with socks, it's probably better if you use a fixed circular, and try and find one with a huge cord. So I don't even know what length cord this is. It's over 100. maybe 120 centimeters, and I have found it to be an absolute joy to knit these colourwork socks on. Usually when I knit socks I use a smaller cable, so it's about 80 centimeters, and that's great for just going round and round and round and not having to change colours. But yeah, when I am changing colours, doing the colour work, I have found that having the really super long cable is great because it doesn't pull. You have like so much leeway, and it's been great. So I'm really enjoying knitting on it. And yeah, like I said, I've got the first sock done. I'm using our all-rounder sock, which is a 80-20 merino nylon. It's great for socks. It's still very soft. It's great for people who have, you know, that sensitivity to wool. And I'm using olive as the main color, and of course Fluro peach, and our new colorway called Bubble Bath. And these just love. I love pink and green. So I think that's my favorite combo. I mean, hello, I just realized I'm wearing pink and green on my sweater too. But yeah, really lovely sock pattern. So I basically followed Sari Nordlund's pattern from her cast. Like, I think you cast on 60 stitches, it could be, and then when you do the color work you increase that to 74, I think, and then when you come down to do the heel you decrease it. So from the heel all the way down to the foot I'm just going to do my own sock because I like the way that fits for me. So yeah, highly recommend if you haven't tried doing colour work for socks and you like it, you like doing colour work, then I highly recommend this sock pattern. And yeah, finding yourself some very long cabled fixed needles. Oh, I should say these are Chalgu too. I absolutely love Chalgu needles, and I will say we are thinking, well, we've pretty much decided to get Chalgu needles for the shop, which I'm really excited about. It's just trying to work out what exactly. I got the price list from our distributor for Chalgu, and it was kind of a little bit mind-blowing the amount of choices. So there's obviously so many needle sizes, but there's different needles, there's different cords. It's just crazy. So I really have to sit down and work out a little small selection. Actually, that's something that you guys could tell me. What do you, when you knit, are you a fixed circular person or are you a interchangeable person? I myself love interchangeable needles, except for sock knitting, mainly because I can, you know, attach whatever size cord I need. So yeah, let me know. That would be really helpful. And also, do you buy sets or do you just buy single needles and cables when you need them? It'd be really helpful to know. My final cast on is another one that took me by surprise. I did mention this last podcast. It's the One Love Mystery Knit Along by Hockey Locatelli. So if you don't want a spoiler, not that the first clue is going to spoil much, but if you don't want a spoiler, then look away. Okay, so I was really excited to hear Hockey was doing this mystery knit along. I know Stephen West just had his, and his knit alongs are, I wouldn't say complicated, but there's a lot going on and it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of yarn. You have to really be dedicated. I don't think I've ever finished a Stephen West mystery knit along within the time frame. And of course I had a lot going on. At the moment I'm doing quite a bit of sample knitting and like there's stuff happening. So I just couldn't commit to doing Stephen West's mystery knit along, even though I had initially hoped to, but then decided, yeah, maybe not this year. But I will say I have been loving watching podcasts where people have been showing their mystery knit alongs and doing like updates every time they've had a clue. I've really enjoyed that. So I've been sort of living through other people. But Hohi a few weeks ago announced that she was doing a mystery knit along with one skein yarn, which I just thought was a brilliant idea. Like I said, everybody has everyone has one skein of sock yarn, and it's very accessible to everybody. Anyone can join in. She has said that you can use any yarn weight. It doesn't have to be sock yarn, it can be DK, sport, whatever you have, you can use it. It does require 400 meters of yarn, so if you were to do a DK weight, you'd have to probably use 2 skeins. So I love it, and I was all up for it. So what I decided to do, I was in the shop this week because I actually went away and I completely forgot to take yarn with me for the knit along. So, and while I was away, the first clue was released. So I was having a bit of a think about what I wanted to use, and I had a little look around. I was almost tempted to use our ACM, which is a fluffy fingering weight yarn. But in the end, I decided that when I knit shawls for myself, I don't often use the fingering weight shawls. I really love warm, wintry shawls. So I decided to use a lace weight yarn held together with a fingering weight yarn to get a DK weight, because I wanted to have, I was going to use our DK weight Cushy, but I actually wanted to have something a little bit fun, so I wanted to marl colours, so have 2 different colours knit them together. So that's what I did. I haven't knit a lot with our new base Allure. I am knitting the Veronika Lindberg shawl with it, so I decided to knit this mystery knit along using the Allure base. So this is the 100% merino, and this is pink almond. I haven't knit with this colour yet either, so I was really keen to cast this on. It's a kind of dusty pink, but it does kind of lean more towards brown. I just really love these kind of natural sort of toned colours. I'm going to sneeze. It's coming. I can feel it. No, it's gone. I've had a lot of hay fever this morning. So yes, this is pink almond, and then I am holding it together with Crema de Caffe, and this is our Oh So Fine Cerise Silk, and this is it. Now, I have found when I took photos of this for spoiler pics for Instagram, for some reason the light catches the Crema de Caffe and it makes the shawl look very light, but in actual fact it's actually more, I don't know, it's darker than what the camera is picking up. But yeah, I'm loving how it's marling. It looks beautiful. It feels so nice. It's going to be lovely to wear. And the first clue was done in a night. I just easily whipped it out. It's basically garter stitch, and then it looks like the lace section is going to be feather and fan. So yeah, I am keen to see where this goes. She does say that you can make the shawl longer, bigger if you like, so if there is a chance to use up as much yarn as I can, then I will. So yes, this is the One Love Mystery Knit Along by Hohi Locatelli. Is anyone else doing this? And I'd love to know if you are, what are you using? We do have a, sorry, our neighbours just turned up with a truck. Yeah, so what are you using for the mystery knit along? I'd love to know. It seems like a lot of people are joining in, which is fantastic. So onto patterns. Now these patterns are ones that have come on into my sphere during the last couple of weeks. So the first one is True Friend by Veera Valimaki, and this actually came up on Mostly Knitting podcast. Tash, who's overseas in London, she was showing her sweaters that she has taken with her on her travels, and she showed this pattern, and I do remember seeing this when it was released. It was quite a while ago that this pattern had been released, and for some reason I mean there's just so many patterns coming out that you do forget So this time, as soon as I saw it on her channel, I paused, I went over to Ravelry, I found it and I put it into my favorites. And you know on Ravelry how you can organize your favorites? I have one that is to make. So I know I just go there whenever I'm stuck or I'm looking for something to make, I go there and choose something. It is an interesting construction, like a big mitered square with stripes. I do really love the look of this, and I think if I was to knit it, I would definitely crop the sweater. I always crop my sweaters. So yeah, that is one that I would really love to knit. I can't remember now if it was, I don't think I looked up the weight, if it was DK or fingering weight, I can't remember. But the next pattern that came out, like the very next morning, I woke up and on Instagram, Ambah O'Brien had released her new patterns, and she's got like a group of them. There's a sweater, a cardigan, and is it a hat? I can't remember. Anyway, it is exactly the same sort of premise where it's a square and then the square is one color, and then for the front, and I believe it's on the back as well, and then the sleeves and the sides are all in another color. I'll obviously put a picture up so you can see what I'm talking about. And I absolutely loved it. So it's so funny because both Veera and Ambah's designs, it's just so funny how my brain has like latched onto Veera's, and then Ambah released hers, and it's almost, I'm not saying that they're copying, that's not what I mean, but it's kind of a similar look. So it's almost like that's exactly what I want to knit at this moment. So Ambah O'Brien's one is knit side to side, which is really interesting, and the little colour work sections I believe are mosaic, which I've never knit, so that would be interesting. Uses DK weight yarn, and I was thinking what I might do is use our Cushy DK for the sleeve and side section, and then for the middle I might do a similar thing to what I'm doing with Hohi's knit along. I might marl a oh so fine Suri silk with a fingering weight. That'd be interesting. So you have sort of like a texture section in the middle where it's fluffy, and then on the outside have the DK. Yeah, that's Frizzy Lizzy pullover by Ambah O'Brien, and I'll pop all the links to everything I talk about below. So in things that I have purchased, when we went away to my parents' place, we went to Lifeline, and I love going second-hand shopping. I have ever since I was a teenager. So we went into this huge shop, but I headed straight to the fabric section, and I was amazed. They had all these rolls of fabric that were $2 each, no matter how many yards there were in the rolls. And what caught my eye was the jersey knits. So they had three. There was this blue one, kind of a maroon one, and a green. And I have washed these. I washed them yesterday, so they're all ready to go. And I was actually amazed because they were all sort of rolled up with a rubber band, so I couldn't like open it up to see how much. But it looks like these are just end of rolls, just from the fabric store. They haven't been cut into or used at all. This blue one, there's a ton of meterage. I would say there's probably about 4 meters in this one. It is actually a finer jersey, so good for summer, but it doesn't have a lot of stretch. It's probably got about 10 to 20% stretch. I would have to watch what I sew with this one, but I will definitely use it. Then there was this maroony type fabric, which again, it doesn't have a lot of stretch either, probably a little bit more than the blue one. The blue one's probably about 10%, this is probably about 20% stretch. Again, it's a lighter fabric, but good for summer tees and whatever. And then finally I got this green knit. This has actually got quite a lot of stretch, like it's very stretchy, and it's quite a bit thicker than the other two, so this would be nice maybe for a dress or something. I have probably, I want to say maybe 2.5 meters of this one, and then the maroon I only have about, maybe this one has about 3 meters, this has about 2 meters, and the blue has a lot more. There's a ton in this one. I don't know whether I mentioned, but they were $2 each, so $6 all up for fabrics. And yeah, it's one thing I always go and have a look at is the fabric section in the secondhand stores, because there's always bargains. Okay, finally, oh no, actually there's 2 more things I want to talk about quickly. A podcast that I found recently that is new to me. It's Colorado Knitter, and I found her last night actually, and I kind of started binge watching her episodes. What I really love about her channel is she is a knitter, has been for a long time, and she also sews. And so I love watching what she makes, and she's also very much into colour work. I was watching her do some Gudrun Johnston vests, or was it cardigans? Anyway, she was doing the steeking front and armholes and neck, which I've never steeked before, which I should maybe put on my list to do next year. So yeah, if you are interested in looking at lots of lovely knitwear and some sewing, then definitely give Colorado Knitter a watch. I will put her details below. And finally, I just want to say we are having our big yarn sale. We have one a year where we put everything that we have in stock on sale at 20%. I actually might put this up, I'm recording on Wednesday, but I might put this up on Friday. I'll put the code in. Okay, so the code is sale20, and it'll be live when you watch this. If you're watching, we're going to have it run from, so it's going to run from the 7th of November, which is Friday, this Friday, and then it'll finish Monday night. And yeah, so it's sale 20, it's 20% off all the in-stock yarns, so there's a ton to buy. And yeah, like I said, it's bittersweet because I am hoping it all goes, of course, but yes, then I can start rebuilding the stock up again. And yeah, I should say, if you're ever in Coffs Harbour, as I always say, please drop by. We are in Industrial Drive. We're Unit 2, 14 Industrial Drive in Coffs Harbour. We're actually in a suburb called North Boambie Valley, but it's still Coffs Harbour. So pop in and say hello. I will say after the sale, usually after we have a sale, a lot of the yarn goes, so we'll be a little bit short of stock, but I will be filling it up straight away with more stuff. I have had quite a few people drop in and say hi, so that was lovely. Thank you for coming. And yeah, so let me know in the comments below what you guys have been up to. I love hearing from you. I love reading your comments. And are you doing the hockey knit along? Have you knit colourwork socks? What needles do you like to use? Are they interchangeable? Are they fixed? Let me know all these things. And yeah, that's it for now. So I will be back in 2 weeks' time. And until then, I guess happy knitting, and talk to you soon. Bye.